So what could lead anyone, to commit mass murder? Were there any warning signs before the killer acted early this morning? Dr. Jack Richman is the dean of the UNC Chapel Hill School of Social Work and joins us now. Dr. Richman, things like this do not happen in a vacuum. If there were any warning signs from this individual, what would they have been?
Well, the warning signs, somebody has to be looking, but it has to do with isolation, lack of emotional support, lack of connectedness to significant others, and very often it has to do with the loss or a perceived loss of something major in that person's life. It could be that his dropping out of a PhD program was perceived as a huge financial loss, a huge emotional loss, and a loss of his own self-perception.
You know, we have a lot of victims in this that happened last night, those who've died, those who were injured, and simply those who were in the theater have to deal with what they experienced.
Yes. Clearly there's a theory about circles of vulnerability that says the people who were closest to this will have the most to deal with. The likelihood of them having some kind of PTSD in the first 2 months is about 50 to 60% of the people will have sleeping problems. They may have stress and anxiety, but most of that will dissipate within the first 2 to 3 months, and then it will just be a few that will still have any lasting concerns after as many as 6 months. And people, however, who watch newscasts over and over again, or who are secondarily exposed to this trauma, could also have some kind of PTSD response.
And it's something that we're going to see for a long time as this story continues to play out. Dr. Jack Richman, the dean of the UNC Chapel Hill School of Social Work, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Our coverage of the theater shooting continues. Scott Pelley will anchor the CBS Evening News tonight from Aurora, Colorado. That extended coverage begins at 6:30.
A big question remains, why did he do it? Well, we talked with the dean of the UNC School of Social Work tonight. He says shooters in mass killings like this often have experienced a loss that could send them over the edge, and they don't have the ability to cope with it. Other factors could be bullying or humiliation.
They tend to blame other people, not to blame themselves, and they see themselves absolutely as a victim, and the rest of the world is really perpetrating bad things on them. And then this is retribution, this is revenge, this is getting back at whoever they feel has wronged them somehow.
Jack Richman also gave some insight into what survivors may be experiencing now. He says as many as half of those survivors could be dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder in the next 6 months and could need support. Others who don't have other issues in their lives, like family problems or substance abuse, may be fully recuperated in a matter of months.